This is Crimes Across Coordinates, a series about what happens when people move through places shaped by long memory and how geography, culture, and systems quietly influence outcomes. These stories are built from verified reporting, court records, and investigative journalism. Some questions remain unsettled, not because they were ignored, but because certainty did not survive the moment. Sarai Sierra came from Staten Island, New York, not as shorthand, not as stereotype, as a place. Staten Island became part of New York City in 1898, the last borough to join, shaped less by ambition than by spectacle. Long before bridges and tunnels, it was farmland, ferry landings, and small communities built around repetition rather than display. Earlier still, Dutch settlers called it Staten Eiland, an island defined by margins, not monuments. That history lingers. Staten Island never learned to move fast for the sake of movement. It learned to stay steady, to repeat, to hold. Sarai fit there. She was a mother of 2 boys. Her days were shaped by school schedules, meals, errands, and weekends that followed familiar rhythms. Friends described her as warm, attentive, quietly present, someone who noticed details and built life around care rather than urgency. She didn't chase disruption, she trusted structure. Photography didn't pull Sarai away from her life. It extended it. She photographed the way she lived, deliberately, patiently, drawn to order. She wasn't chasing moments. She was studying patterns. Train tracks disappearing into distance, fences dividing space cleanly, buildings repeating themselves until repetition felt calm. She worked with a Samsung Galaxy 3, edited on her iPad, shared through Instagram. After taking a photography course at the College of Staten Island, friends noticed a shift. She slowed down. She waited. She framed with intention. She stopped capturing things and started capturing structure. By early 2013, thousands of people followed her work online. Not because it shocked, but because it soothed. Her images felt steady, meditative. This wasn't casual anymore. It was a serious creative path forming. Istanbul has had more names than most cities have lifetimes. By the time Sarai arrived in 2013, it had already been Byzantium, Constantinople, and finally Istanbul, each name marking a shift in power, belief, and design. The city has been continuously inhabited for more than 2,600 years. Nothing here was accidental. Roads followed empire, walls followed fear, neighborhoods followed survival. Istanbul doesn't erase its past, it builds on top of it. For someone drawn to structure, this city didn't just offer beauty, it offered logic layered over time. Ferries cut across the Bosphorus every few minutes, horns echoing between continents. A reminder that movement here never really stops. For nearly 500 years, Istanbul was the capital of the Ottoman Empire, an empire that governed diversity by design. Different religions, different languages, different laws, held together not by sameness, but by proximity. That legacy remains visible. Grand mosques sit beside narrow alleys. Wealth and poverty share walls. Public life spills into private space. The city learned long ago how to hold contradiction without resolving it. And that's part of what makes Istanbul feel generous and at times unforgiving. Sarai arrived in Istanbul on January 7, 2013. From there, she briefly traveled outward. Amsterdam, then Munich, before returning. Istanbul remained the anchor. She stayed connected constantly. Messages, photos, video calls. Her family didn't experience distance, they experienced motion. She walked slowly, she lingered, she photographed thresholds, places where neighborhoods change character, where beauty and wear exist side by side. Istanbul doesn't hide its contrasts, that's part of its truth. Tea appears without asking. Directions arrive before you ask. Markets spill into streets. But the city also tests assumptions. Tourist paths dissolve without warning. Familiar rhythms shift block to block. Some areas feel transitional, not destinations, not avoided either. Places people pass through, not toward. These spaces aren't evil, they're simply unnoticed. They exist because every city has margins, not because people choose them, but because systems create them. And unnoticed places can feel safe until they aren't. Sarai often met other photographers through Instagram. In New York, this was normal. Weekend walks, shared interests, temporary companionship built around creativity. During her trip, she spoke with photographers abroad, including a man in Turkey she had connected with online. According to investigators, he offered to show her parts of the city. Not as a guide, familiar enough to feel safe, distant enough to remain unknown. On January 21st, Sarai left her hostel in Beyoğlu. Her passport stayed behind. Her charger stayed behind. Her belongings were still in place. Everything suggested return. That morning, around 11, she sent an email suggesting a meeting later near Galata Tower. No time set, no urgency. She wasn't rushing, she had space. Galata Tower was a destination, not a tether. The space between where she was and where she planned to be was layered, walkable, photographable. For Sarai, that space mattered. It wasn't a detour, it was the point. A detour that never needed to feel like one. After Sarai stops responding, concern grows. Police follow the obvious path. They speak to the man she planned to meet. He says he never saw her. Investigators found no evidence to contradict him, and no evidence to confirm the meeting ever happened. But her phone and iPad are missing, the tools she used to photograph, to communicate, to orient herself. Without them, the story leans in the wrong direction for far too long. Days pass, searches expand. Officials speak carefully. American authorities offer assistance. The city continues, and into that silence, narratives rush. In Turkish press, the story begins to shift. The focus moves from what happened to who she was allowed to be. Why was she traveling alone? Why was she meeting men? Why was she photographing unfamiliar neighborhoods? The language becomes moral, then cultural, then religious. Responsibility subtly shifts toward her behavior. At the same time, women's rights advocates point out something painful. During the same period, several Turkish women are killed by partners, with far less coverage. The issue isn't nationality, it's how societies question women's movement once something goes wrong. In the US, the reaction fractures. Some coverage turns Istanbul into a warning. Others rush to defend travel safety statistics. Both miss Sarai. This wasn't recklessness, it was a miscalculation inside a complex environment. Sarai's husband travels to Istanbul. When he speaks, he doesn't speculate, he doesn't rage, he doesn't perform grief the way people expect. Later, he speaks of forgiveness, shaped by a church community that emphasized grace over vengeance, not as absolution as survival. It doesn't close the story. It unsettles it. At this point, nothing is proven. The city hasn't answered. The data is gone. The narratives are multiplying. And Sarai, a woman who trusted structure, pattern, and movement, has vanished into a place where those rules no longer hold. Sarai was found 12 days later, not by police, not by search teams, by people who already lived on the margins of the city. Her body was discovered near the ancient city walls, in an area most visitors never reach, and most locals move past without stopping. The walls themselves were built in the 5th century, meant to protect the city from outside threats. Over time, they became something else, a boundary, a place where the visible city ends and the unseen one begins. She was partially covered, still wearing the same clothes seen in surveillance footage days earlier. There was no sign of theft in the way people expect it. Her gold jewelry was still on her. The location mattered. This wasn't a hidden place. It was an ignored one. The kind of space where modern Istanbul quietly absorbs what it doesn't know how to manage. DNA recovered from beneath her fingernails later confirmed what investigators suspected early on, that she resisted. But resistance does not unfold evenly. Language barriers matter, isolation matters, location matters. Sometimes fighting back reveals not escape, but how alone a moment truly is. The area near the walls had long been home to a transient population. People without stable housing, people who survived through informal labor, scrap collectors, paper gatherers, metal scavengers. They move through the city collecting what others discard: copper wire, cans, broken electronics. They sell pieces by weight. It's work that depends on access, invisibility, and long hours spent walking the edges of neighborhoods. The man later identified in this case lived that way. He wasn't from Istanbul originally. He came from Karabük, a province in northern Turkey, an area shaped by industrial decline, limited opportunity, and outmigration. Like many others, he drifted toward the city in search of survival, not belonging. By the time Sarai crossed his path, he was living near the walls. Istanbul is a city of extraordinary generosity, but it is also a city under immense strain. Millions of residents, tourism pressure, housing shortages, limited infrastructure for mental health and addiction support. People who fall out of formal systems don't vanish. They collect at the edges. The city walls became one of those edges. There were few coordinated efforts to relocate or support the people living there. Even fewer measures to clearly separate tourist foot traffic from spaces that had quietly become survival zones. No clear warnings, no visible barriers, no meaningful intervention. The city didn't push people away, it simply stopped looking. When investigators realized her phone and iPad were missing, the details stood out. Not as mystery, but as logic. Scrap collectors don't steal for symbolism, they steal for value. Electronics are easy to sell, easy to dismantle, easy to move. Jewelry draws attention, devices disappear quietly. In that context, the missing phone and iPad weren't theatrical, they were practical. And suddenly, what felt inexplicable began to align with the environment Sarai had walked into. An ecosystem built around salvage, not sentiment. Sarai didn't walk into danger because she ignored warnings. She walked into a blind spot, a place where the city's history overshadowed its present. Survival and tourism overlapped without guidance. Vulnerable populations were left unmanaged, and outsiders had no way to read the risk correctly. This wasn't inevitability. It was exposure layered over silence. After her life was taken, Sarai's photographs were shared. They sold quickly. She was getting there. Her images still show us how cities are drawn, how order creates calm. What they cannot show is who lives just outside those lines. Sarai Sierra didn't disappear because she ignored the world. She disappeared because she trusted it. And sometimes fascination carries you into a place that does not notice you back. One that asks you to stand outside your comfort boundaries. Thank you for listening. Our stories aren't about fear, they're about awareness. Because curiosity isn't the risk. being unprepared for complexity is. If this episode stayed with you, you'll find additional context, resources, and carefully selected partners in the show notes. If you'd like to support Crimes Across Coordinates directly, there's a tip jar linked below. It helps keep this work independent and deeply researched. We'll meet you at the next set of coordinates.